There's a reason why cat lovers are different. Science confirms that true cat lovers often hide a silent strength, real, measurable psychological qualities that deeply affect not only their relationships, but also their mental health. If you've ever had the honor of being chosen by a cat, you know that unique feeling. That emotional connection isn't random, it's part of something powerful, and it's likely that strength belongs to you too. Are you ready to discover the hidden power of cat lovers? Stay with us, because what you're about to hear could change how you see yourself and your special bond with your feline friend forever. If you find yourself nodding along and thinking, "Yes, that's me," then you're definitely in the right place. Tap subscribe, hit the bell, and don't forget to like this video if it resonates with you. And if you want to help other cat lovers find this too, click the hype button. It gives the video a real boost. What's coming next might just change the way you see your cat forever. Section 1. The silent intelligence of cat lovers. There's a stereotype, a cultural cliché almost as old as time. The cat lover with glasses, immersed in a complex book, an intellectual with a higher-than-average IQ. Picture them in a comfortable armchair, a steaming cup of tea nearby, and a cat curled up on their lap, completely absorbed in their thoughts. It's an image that makes us smile and is often used humorously. But what if I told you that behind this somewhat caricatured and stereotypical representation, there's a solid foundation of scientific truth? Yes, several studies conducted in recent years by prestigious universities and research centers have revealed a surprising and statistically significant correlation. Those who identify as cat lovers, who consciously choose to share their life with a feline, tend to score higher on intelligence tests than the general population. Now let's be clear. We're not saying that cleaning your cat's litter box every day automatically guarantees you a place of honor at Mensa, the International Association of the Brightest Minds. The point is another, more subtle and fascinating one. The trend is clear, statistically significant, and thought-provoking. A 2010 study from the University of Bristol, which surveyed 2,500 UK households, found that people with a university degree were 1.36 times more likely to own a cat than a dog. Another well-known study from Carroll University in Wisconsin surveyed 600 college students and found that self-identified cat lovers scored higher on intelligence and were more likely to be described as open-minded and non-conformist. So what's the explanation behind this correlation? The most fascinating and accredited theory revolves around a precious and increasingly rare resource, time. To achieve great things, whether it's a creative project, academic research, or scientific innovation, you need quality time to concentrate, to think deeply, to let ideas germinate and mature. This requires a certain amount of personal independence, the ability to work and thrive in solitude without constantly depending on the presence or approval of others. And this is where our feline friends come in. Often, in a completely unconscious and spontaneous way, cat lovers are attracted to animals that resemble them in temperament and habits. And what is more fiercely independent, more autonomous and self-sufficient than a cat? This preference among cat lovers is linked to a well-documented personality trait in psychology, known as openness to experience, a characteristic closely connected to fluid intelligence, creativity, and abstract thinking. Those who not only tolerate solitude but see it as an opportunity for personal and intellectual growth may find the cat to be the ideal companion. Present but not intrusive, affectionate but not dependent. History, after all, is full of geniuses who were devoted cat lovers, finding in them ideal companions for their brilliant minds. Immortal writers like Mark Twain, who once said with his typical irony that if you could cross a man with a cat, it would improve the man, but it would deteriorate the cat. Refined poets like T.S. Eliot, who dedicated an entire poetry collection to felines, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats, which later became the basis for the famous musical Cats. And revolutionary scientists like Nikola Tesla, who, despite his eccentricities and social isolation, found comfort and inspiration in the silent company of cats. Even Isaac Newton, one of the greatest scientists in history, loved his cats so much that he is said to have invented the cat flap to allow them to enter and exit his study freely while he was working on his revolutionary theories. Perhaps the quiet complexity of a cat, its nature as an enigma to be observed and deciphered day after day, particularly fascinates those who love to think, analyze, solve problems, and delve into the depths of knowledge. For a cat lover, understanding their pet is an intellectual puzzle, a rewarding challenge. If you also find joy in decoding your cat's language, in understanding what lies behind every meow, every posture, every glance, you are not alone. You are part of a community of people who share this intellectual curiosity, and in all likelihood, you are also a brilliant person, even if you may not realize it or don't like to show it off. The mind of a cat lover is often a place of deep thought and quiet contemplation. This intellectual curiosity isn't just about solving the puzzle of their own cat. It extends to a broader appreciation for complexity and nuance in all areas of life. The very act of choosing a companion that doesn't offer simple, effusive affection, but instead provides a complex, layered relationship is in itself an indicator of a mind that enjoys a challenge. This is a hallmark of the true cat lover personality. Section 2. The emotional perception of cat lovers. But intelligence is only part of the story. There is another quality, perhaps even more precious, that distinguishes the true cat lover. An extraordinary emotional sensitivity. And this brings us to the second hidden strength. Cat lovers aren't just intelligent, they are masters of emotional perception. Cats themselves are absolute experts at picking up the most subtle emotional nuances. An almost imperceptible twitch of the tail, a slow blink that looks like a silent kiss, a sideways glance that says more than 1,000 words. Every gesture is a word in their silent and complex vocabulary. And those who love them, the dedicated cat lovers, often share this extraordinary emotional sensitivity. Scientific research in the psychological field suggests that cat lovers and cat parents tend to be more perceptive than the average person. They notice the small changes in mood in the people around them, the almost imperceptible variations in the tone of a conversation, the unspoken emotions that hang in a room like an invisible presence. And there's more. Living with a cat on a daily basis could even sharpen this innate ability, turning it into a real relational skill. Think about it for a moment. If you have learned to accurately distinguish the "I'm hungry and I want to eat right now" meow from the "Why did you move my favorite bed and now I'm confused" meow from the "I want to go out on the balcony" meow to the "Something is wrong and I need your attention" meow, you are practically bilingual. You have developed a sophisticated linguistic ability that goes far beyond simple verbal communication. Recent studies in the field of animal communication have shown that domestic cats have developed a specific vocal repertoire to communicate with humans, a language they do not use with each other. And you, as one of the many dedicated cat lovers, have become fluent in this unique language. You have developed an ability to read between the lines, to grasp implicit meanings, which inevitably extends to human relationships. You are able to feel when a friend tells you in a flat voice, "I'm fine," but actually just wants a silent hug or someone to be by their side without asking questions. You are used to deciphering a whole range of meows, purrs, hisses, and silences, and this makes you an exceptional interpreter of others' emotions, even when they are not expressed verbally. A cat lover understands the most silent and delicate forms of affection, those that do not need grand gestures or declarations. We know that a slow blink from our little furry roommate is a tenderly whispered "I love you." We understand that a paw gently placed on our leg while we work or watch TV is a seal of absolute trust, a way of saying "I feel safe with you." Cats do not expose their precious paw pads, so sensitive and vulnerable, to just anyone. It is a privilege reserved for a select few. There is another wonderful and often underestimated aspect: the ability to connect in silence. Not that awkward silence that must be filled at all costs with useless chatter, but that comfortable, presence-filled silence that says, "I am here for you. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. An emotional comfort that needs no words, no explanations, no justifications. Not everyone has it, but the seasoned cat lover is often a natural master of it. As cat lovers, don't be surprised if you find yourself observing people attentively, picking up small details of their character, their mood, even when you watch a movie or a TV series. Understanding a cat means learning to notice the slightest changes in body language, posture, gaze, and this is a perceptual habit that doesn't turn off when the credits roll. Cats are emotional mirrors. If something is wrong in your world, if you are sad, anxious, or stressed, they often perceive it before you are fully aware of it yourself. If you have ever had the feeling that your cat knew exactly when you needed company, when you needed to be left alone, or when you needed a therapeutic purr, you were not imagining it. It is real and it is reciprocal. This is why cat lovers are often excellent listeners, outstanding observers, and deeply empathetic people. Our connection with others is based on nuance, not noise, on quality, not quantity, on feeling, not just speaking. This ability to operate on a deeper emotional frequency makes the cat lover a sought-after confidant and a stable presence in the lives of their loved ones. They don't need grand declarations to understand what's in someone's heart. They've been trained by the best masters in the world, their own cats. And this emotional sensitivity intertwines perfectly with the third hidden strength, a deep respect for personal boundaries, a quality that today, more than ever, is fundamental for healthy and authentic relationships. Quick question for you. Which of these strengths resonates with you the most? Are you the intellectual cat lover, the emotionally perceptive one, or maybe both? Drop a comment below and let us know. We'd love to hear your story. Section 3. Respect for autonomy. A lesson from cats. Cats have clear boundaries, and they communicate them unequivocally. They come when they want, they leave when they've had enough. They choose their people carefully, almost with a rigorous selection process. And we, as cat lovers, not only respect this, but we deeply admire it. This nature of theirs is so exemplary and pedagogically valuable that in some schools and therapeutic programs around the world, the behavior of cats is used to teach children a fundamental and often overlooked concept: consent. In Australia and parts of the United States, so-called feline consent lessons are becoming an integral part of educational programs, especially in elementary schools and special education contexts. These innovative programs use interaction with cats as a concrete pedagogical tool to teach abstract but fundamental concepts such as respect for personal boundaries, recognition of nonverbal cues, and the importance of consent in any type of relationship. These lessons help children, particularly those with special needs, autism spectrum disorders, or trauma histories, to understand nonverbal boundaries in an intuitive and natural way. They learn to recognize a cat's signals: a nervously twitching tail, a rigid and tense posture, a deliberate withdrawal, as a clear and respectable, "No, I don't want to be touched right now." Unlike dogs, who often passively tolerate being hugged, petted, or smothered with affection, even when they don't want it, cats do not compromise. They give clear, direct, honest signals, and they legitimately expect them to be respected. Learning to read a cat's language intuitively teaches children and adults that a no does not need to be shouted, repeated, or justified to be valid. Consent can be silent, it can be a body movement, it can be a withdrawal, and it must always be respected. One child therapist specializing in trauma described cats as living models of consent, extraordinarily effective educational tools for building empathy, respect, and social understanding. In a world that still struggles to talk openly about personal boundaries, bodily autonomy, and consent, cats, silently but effectively, set the standard. And this deep respect for the will of others is another behavioral habit that we cat lovers tend to manifest in our human relationships. Psychological research has found that the typical cat lover tends to be more nonconformist, less inclined to blindly follow social rules just because it's always been done this way, or because everyone does it. We value personal freedom and flexibility, both for ourselves and for others. And this is concretely reflected in our interpersonal relationships. If a friend or partner needs to spend an evening alone, cat lovers understand this instinctively with their console exterminating virtual zombies, or simply to be in silence without having to socialize. A cat lover is more likely to let them do so without feeling offended, neglected, or abandoned. We understand that the need for solitude is not a rejection, but a legitimate need. Personality psychology confirms this. Cat lovers tend to choose pets that mirror their temperament and their values. Calmer, more balanced people, who not only are fine on their own but also willingly let others have their own vital space, are naturally attracted to animals that have a similar innate respect for personal boundaries. If you are the type of person who lets a cat take its time to approach, instead of constantly picking it up against its will, you are probably also the type of person who lets your friends, family, and loved ones breathe, respecting their times and their needs. But there is one last quality, perhaps the most powerful of all, that emerges when you love a cat, a silent but indestructible emotional resilience. And this is the fourth hidden strength that distinguishes every true cat lover. Section 4. The silent resilience of cat lovers. Loving a cat is never a matter of instant gratification or immediate satisfaction. It is a daily exercise in patience, mindful presence, and consistency. It means being there day after day without demanding constant validation or immediate recognition. Cats do not dispense affection on command. They do not behave like vending machines for cuddles. They offer it when it is authentic, when they truly feel it, when they trust completely. And this makes every slow blink, every quiet sit-down next to you on the couch, every small sign of trust, immensely more precious and meaningful. For cat lovers, a deep bond with a cat is not born overnight. It is not built with a single grand gesture. It requires consistency over time, unconditional kindness, and emotional stability. These are qualities that do not make noise, that are not visible on the surface, but that are incredibly powerful and transformative. And if you have earned the sincere affection of a cat, if it has chosen you as its reference person, you have demonstrated that you possess all these qualities. A landmark 2019 study from Oregon State University, led by Dr. Kristin Vitale, discovered that cats form secure attachment bonds with their humans, surprisingly similar to those that infants develop with their parents. The researchers used the secure base test, originally developed to study infant attachment, adapting it to cats. The results were astonishing. About 65% of the cats showed a secure attachment to their owners, a percentage comparable to that observed in human children, and even higher than that found in dogs. And the depth, quality, and stability of this bond largely depend on how calm, emotionally available, responsive to the cat's needs, and emotionally regulated the cat lover is as an owner. It's not enough to provide food and water. Authentic emotional presence is required. Researchers studying the complex human-animal relationship have also noted that cat lovers often display greater emotional resilience, better self-regulation skills, and higher stress tolerance than the general population. A particularly interesting British study found that cat owners, especially those living with shy, reserved, or previously traumatized cats, score significantly higher on psychological traits such as persistence in the face of difficulties, adaptability to change, and tolerance to chronic stress. Why does this happen? Because cats, with their independent and selective nature, cats teach us cat lovers to be consistent without forcing, to care without controlling, to wait with patience, to trust the process, to respond with sensitivity. They teach us that true love is not imposed, it is earned. That trust is not demanded, it is built. That the deepest relationship is one that respects the times and needs of both parties. This daily emotional workout makes the dedicated cat lover stronger, more balanced, and more capable of facing life's uncertainties. And this lesson in resilience is not confined to the relationship with your cat. It extends to every area of your life. It makes you more patient in long-term projects, more capable of managing frustrations, more skilled in building authentic relationships that last over time. The resilience you develop by loving a cat becomes a precious resource that accompanies you in professional challenges, personal difficulties, and moments of change. It is a strength that makes no noise, but that makes all the difference. This is the quiet power of the cat lover, a power forged in patience, observation, and unconditional love. A power that doesn't need to be shouted from the rooftops, because it is lived every day in the silent understanding between a human and their feline companion. This resilience is the ultimate testament to the strength that cats bring into our lives, making every cat lover not just a pet owner, but a more complete and emotionally robust human being. If this video made you smile, helped you feel seen, or reminded you why cats are so special, then do your part. Like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the hype button. Let's make sure every cat lover out there hears this too.